What's going on, guys? It's your boy Gaming Forte, and I wanted to talk to you guys about the $600 problem. Now, there is a lot of different things that are $600 that we use in our day-to-day life. Sometimes it's $600 that people are paying a month when it comes to their car and their car insurance combined. Some people are actually paying that just in car insurance, but you know, I digress on that one. But man, there's things like phones and tablets and all of these different things that we spend all of our money on. And it's starting to look like we're going to be paying that same amount of money for consoles going forward. It looks like the next Xbox and the next PlayStation, especially the PlayStation, is being rumored right now for anything from $500 to $550 all the way up to $600. Now, is this something that is sustainable? Is this something that the market can actually bear? In my opinion, yes. Now, they have tried to sell $600 consoles in the past. Didn't go so well. Neo Geo didn't sell that well, but it was a novelty item. PlayStation 3, which was coming off the heels of one of the greatest systems ever sold, the PlayStation 2, and they told people to go out and get a second job to afford it. And of course, it didn't sell nowhere near as well as it ended up selling towards the end of the generation when it finally passed Microsoft for second in that generation behind the Wii with over 84 million systems sold. So a lot of people think $600 is way too much to be spending on your entertainment, but guess what? It's your entertainment. It's something that kind of relaxes you and puts you into a really good space. It's just like that person that goes out and spends like $600-700 on purses throughout a whole year, but you're just doing yours in one purchase and it's continually paying dividends over the course of a generation, anywhere from 5 to 7 years. You know, games are the number one thing that basically inflate how much these systems are actually going to cost you in the end. Me personally, I feel like a $600 price tag isn't too much to pay, especially in the climate we in now. You know, we got new iPhones that just released, and even the older iPhone, the XR, they changed it to the 11, and the 11 still goes for $700, which is kind of a rebranding from the XR, and it has a better processor and a way better camera. So people are willing to pay if it's something that they want. Now, Microsoft and Sony are going to have to go all the way out to show you why this is a great value proposition for your money. $600 is not a lot of money, but for some people it really is. That's something that a lot of people really in their minds can't find themselves parting with just to do it. So what does that value proposition look like? Well, in the first part of it is really and only going to come down to the games. The games are going to be the number one thing that's going to sell these new platforms. Now, Sony, let's talk about them for a second. This will probably be more of a hard sell for a Sony fan because $500 I can see being a bare minimum they're going to charge for these next generation consoles. Microsoft already showed that you can sell a $500 system and do it successfully throughout the generation. Now, yes, it didn't sell as great as the PlayStation 4 did, and the PlayStation 4 was only $100 cheaper, but we are in a climate now, things change. 7-8 years is a long enough sample size for people to actually just change their spending habits, and that's what we saw over the course of this whole generation. Now, I think Sony is going to come out with that $500 system, but it's being rumored $550, $600, and that's before we even add tariffs and all this other crazy stuff into the conversation that could really balloon the price up even more. But I think they are looking at a ceiling of at least $600 on this next system, and for Sony fans that's probably going to be a little bit harder to swallow, more just because they're not used to having to pay that type of money, and Sony needs them to spend that money because they want them in that ecosystem. Their ecosystem is a self-contained spot where you can just enjoy your games on PlayStation platforms. But when it comes to Microsoft, they don't care about where you play your games. They don't care if you play on a mobile phone. They don't care if you play on a PC. They don't care if you play on your original Xbox or your brand new Xbox One X you just bought 2 years ago. This is a situation that Microsoft has been wanting to be in for this entire generation. When they came out and announced the Xbox One, this is the idea they had back then. All of your games being digital, being on a platform where you can literally take those games wherever you want to do. It just took them longer to get to that point. But now that they're here, the platform doesn't matter. Yes, the Xbox hardware per se is going to be something that people are still going to clamor for and still want. But when it comes down to the come down, Microsoft doesn't care where you play those games at. So when that Scarlet releases, that Scarlet is just going to be another tool to get people in the ecosystem that want to have a physical piece of hardware in their house to play those games. But guess what? The Xbox One X is still there. Some people are telling me, and it's being rumored and speculated on, that the reason the Lockhart got discontinued and Microsoft is no longer pursuing that as a system that comes out next generation is because developers didn't want to develop games for all these different SKUs. And I can see that, but guess what? They kind of already do that now. All these games that are in Game Pass are being filtered down from the PC level to the console level. So if the Scarlet is going to be nothing but a glorified PC, all they're going to do is make those games on PC and make them compatible with Scarlet, and they'll just downscale from there. And I believe the Xbox One X is going to be the new entry point for the next generation. They still haven't gotten everything out of that system because it was being held back by older hardware. So we're going to see over the course of the next few years how this is all going to shake out. Sooner or later, the Xbox One X is going to be irrelevant. But by that time, people that picked it up, probably played it for 3-4 years, are going to be ready for that next upgrade. And guess what? Microsoft's not going to force them to do it. So Microsoft, they have an ability to charge whatever they want to charge for this Scarlet because they don't care if the system sells or not. They just want it to be an option for the people that want it to be there. And with all of these rumors and all of these reports coming out that Microsoft is saying that this is going to be an uncompromising 60 frames per second frame rate machine, that's music to my ears. That's the first time I've actually heard them come out, or just a rumor come out, saying that this is going to be an uncompromised situation. You know, they didn't even say this with 4K with the Xbox One X. They just said true 4K, and it really wasn't, because some games were 4K, some games weren't. But now that they're coming out and we're hearing the reports of uncompromised, this is what we were talking about last generation. You know, well, not last generation, but during this generation when the X first released. There's no way these games are going to all run at 60 frames per second. And I didn't believe that, but some people say this is marketing speak. So I truly believe now that they're putting a face to what the next system's going to be when it comes to these frame rates and being uncompromised, that's what I'm looking forward to. If I don't get that, then guess what? I have a Scarlet type system sitting right next to that I'm recording this video on right now. It's called a PC, and I don't worry about frame rate on my PC. So if they can give us the console-like experience, but with PC quality, a lot of people are going to want to do that, because guess what? It is still better to play on a console, because consoles are optimized for the games we want to play. Every once in a while, PC, I do have issues. I can't load this, or I gotta do an update for that, and all these driver updates, and it's not tedious. It's not a thing that I don't like doing, but if I don't have to do it, why do it? And that's what consoles give you. So if a console can give it to you at a $600-$700 price tag, and it can give you light PC experiences, people are gonna move over and they're gonna go to these next systems, PlayStation or Xbox, no matter what's gonna happen. But guys, ultimately it comes down to you, the consumer, and what you are gonna do with that hard-earned money that you put in your pocket and in your bank accounts every 2 weeks, every week, every month, throughout the entire year. And 2020 will be here before we know it, and these new systems, we're going to hear way more about them in the coming months, but they're going to be here before we know it. So start saving up those ducats now. $50 a month will get you all the way there. Within 10 months, you'll have $500 saved up. And guess what? All you got to do is buy the games. But be ready for this $600 price tag, if not higher. I'm just telling everybody now in advance, so you can't say that I just didn't have the money to do it, because your boy Gaming Forte told you a year in advance that this was going to happen. But let's talk about it in the comment section. Let me know what you think about all this, and I will talk to you guys in the next video. And once again, you guys have a great week. Peace.